The best morning routine and setting up yourself for success does start the day before. Getting that out into like a list or, maybe even scheduling it right into your calendar. When I went to create a morning routine, I knew that I needed to get into the science. You can pray, visualize, and read those key opportunities to set yourself up for success through priming your mind to be that person. It seems like everywhere you look today, people are talking about what the perfect morning routine is. What is the way that I can set myself up for success today that will allow me to flow into my day with momentum and a clear mind? And yes, it is so important for you to sort through all of that, I will say, and figure out what works best for you. But today I want to talk about what has proven so successful, not just for me and for my clients, but what's rooted in science. So that at a minimum, at least you understand the science of what creates a really great morning routine and then can craft yours accordingly based on that. I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't start this with talking about how the best morning routine and setting up yourself for success, the best in a day, does start the day before. And I know it's cliche. You've definitely probably heard that before if you're into this topic in general, but I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention it. So everyone's will look a little bit different. For me, doing certain things, having certain pillars to make sure that A, I'm getting the best sleep, B, I have a clear mind to allow myself to go to sleep, but C, I also wake up the next day having chosen my attitude already, knowing exactly what my day is gonna look like or what my energy and focus is gonna be on that day is so important for me. So I'll tell you a few tips, a few things that have helped me, first with the nighttime routine, and then I'll get into the science of what produces the perfect morning routine, or the science of how you can build your perfect morning routine that serves you and the life that you are building. So when it comes to the pillars the night before, as I said, your sleep matters so much. And so for me, I've realized that I can't eat too late. I do have to stop eating at a certain time, especially if it's sugar. You do have to eat that before a certain time. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to have an effective sleep at night. I'm sure everyone's been seeing these all over the internet these days. At a certain time of night, I always put on my blue light blockers. Yes, I think cutting out screens in general completely before bed will be good. And I do a little bit of that as well. I have a nighttime routine after screens go off, but I do think that for the last, I think for me, it's like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. rolls around. We're naturally looking at our phones. I do spend a little bit of time watching TV every single night. Getting these on, if you're gonna be looking at your screen at all after a certain point of night, I think will really help your sleep and your mind, okay? So making sure that you're stopping eating early enough, making sure that you're wearing some blue light blockers or something like that. Again, this has worked for me. You figure out what works for you, but actually prioritizing something to allow yourself to wind down for the night and allow yourself to get into a deep slumber is gonna be very, very important. The next couple things that I do in my nighttime routine when it comes to actually relaxing, turning off work at a certain time, even in my mind, right? Allowing things to be for the next day. One thing that really helps me do that is plan out the tasks that I have to do the next day. So I'll write out the things that I need to focus on the next day or that week so that at least it's out of my brain and I know it's gonna be taken care of. If there's anything else that's coming up, it doesn't have to just be work related, getting that out into like a list or, maybe even scheduling it right into your calendar will give you the peace of mind that you can let go of all of that for the day so that you can actually get into that relaxed state and decompress a little bit. So I think that's very important. The next two that I'll mention when it comes to priming yourself for the next day is, first of all, doing some sort of meditation at night is amazing. I'll get into visualization when I get into the morning routine as well. A visualization right before you go to sleep is a very effective method, not only for the act of visualization, what it does, reprogramming your mind, but also just for relaxing into a blissful state before sleep. The other thing that I do, which you probably won't hear out there, is every single night I choose my attitude, how I'm gonna feel, and how I'm going to show up the next day. Most people think that's silly. You can choose how you are going to show up in a certain situation. I had a coach tell me this years ago, and it was so amazing to see the different scenarios that I could apply it to. One, for example, is when I speak on stages. a lot of different feelings can come up, not just nerves, even excitement, even all the different things that I want to share and get out there can start to come up when I get out on a stage. So it's very important to choose your attitude and your energy and how you're going to show up before the actual event. And this is how I approach my days as well. Before I actually go out onto stage, days before, and especially the day before, the night before, I choose my attitude. I choose how I'm going to show up, who I am going to step into that day. And I do that every single night, making sure that I consciously choose, think about how I want to feel the next day after that restful sleep and how my attitude is going to be throughout the day. If I have any big specific tasks or events that I'm going to do, I choose how that will feel and look beforehand. That's so important. If anyone is into prayer, prayer is also great for me, and I often sauna at night, which is a great transition from my work tasks, getting everything out onto paper, doing the sauna to calm down, and then going into the rest of my relaxation of the night, if that makes sense. So like I said, we're gonna get into morning routines. I think it's very important and worth mentioning though that if you are going to set yourself up for success with a morning routine, it does start the night before. Now, when it comes to morning routines, as I said, there's so much out there. There's so many different ways that you can approach it and different methodologies on how to approach it. And when I get into the science, I obviously study the science of the mind and the nervous system and how those different elements actually impact how we show up and therefore the results in our life. And so when I went to create a morning routine, I knew that I needed to get into the science of that, craft my morning routine around what my true vision is. And I did that based on the science. So this is why I want to share it with you, because it might not be the exact perfect things to do. There are some strong suggestions, but just understanding the science of it alone will allow you to at least craft the perfect morning routine specific to your vision and what you think will be conducive to your fulfillment of that vision. In my opinion, the way that I approach morning routines is first having a very solid, steady, smaller or easy to do morning routine that you can do from anywhere in the world. And this is your base of everything. You can build on it if you want, but I have a very small and effective morning routine that I never miss. If I add on to it some days by going to the gym, or for example, when I was training for my triathlon, a lot of days I was doing, 2-hour workout on top of my morning routine, that's okay. But I have this very small, consistent, effective morning routine that allows me to never miss a beat, no matter what, okay? Whether I'm waking up in Italy and I have a very busy day, or, I have so much to do and I can't do my 2-hour triathlon training, for example, at least I have this solid foundation that I can connect to and align myself and set myself up for success for that day going forward. So the two things that you really have to understand is, first of all, when you first wake up and when you are going to bed, your subconscious mind is wide open. The door to your subconscious mind is wide open. If you've seen my content before, you would understand our subconscious mind holds our programming, our paradigm, our self-image, and these are ultimately the root cause of what produces every single result in our life. So when you wake up, doing some of the work to recondition your subconscious mind is going to be the most effective time to do it. Also, just connecting yourself to your vision, to what you're building, to your goals, first thing in the morning is going to prime your mind to look for those opportunities, to focus on those opportunities or tasks that move things forward throughout the day. So it's so important. So understanding this, the first thing that I do when I wake up is pray and then go right into a visualization. Now it's up to you how you do it. I'll even say not just visualization, but doing the work to reprogram yourself first thing. The first thing that you feed your mind when you wake up will go right into the subconscious mind. And that is the science that you can build your morning routine around. That's the first piece. Because whatever you tell yourself, whatever narrative you are consciously or unconsciously saying, if you wake up and you're stressing, immediately thinking about how hard your day is, you are reinforcing that way of thinking of stress and hardship, struggle, okay? So you have to take that opportunity to input a way of being that is desirable and conducive to the vision and life that you want to live. So what I used to do, to give you an example, is I used to wake up, I used to get right out of bed, walk across to my office and journal. With the work that I do, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have achieved X, Y, and Z. Now that my team effortlessly produces these specific results. Now that I have my dream house in Italy and my hotel here and all of this stuff. Programming my mind to believe that I already have that life and that I already am that person who naturally produces that life that is my vision. These days, instead of journaling, I visualize. I think visualization is not one of, the most effective way to reprogram your subconscious mind. I would fall asleep if I just visualized right there. So what I do is I wake up, I sit up in bed, I take that opportunity of the subconscious mind being wide open, and I go right into quick prayer, connecting to source, the higher power. You could do whatever your beliefs are. And then I go into visualization, visualizing, experiencing in vivid detail the kind of things that I want to accomplish, feel, experience, distribute. So I do recommend taking that opportunity to prime your mind to be that person, or even just to connect to your vision or goals first thing in the morning, because what it's going to do is it's going to set your subconscious attention where you are automatically focusing throughout the day on those things. So for example, if we're talking about our goals, connecting to our goals, you will automatically be set to focus on the things that move you towards that goal, or proof that you are moving towards that goal. That's what the reticular activating system does. Part of your mind that's always looking for proof of what it has emotionalized. Subconscious mind is the emotional mind, so that is the perfect time to get a new emotionalized, rooted belief in there. So it's very important to take this time. The next piece of science, the next pillar that you need to understand so that you can build your morning routine off of the science, something that works best for you, is that the first hits of dopamine that your mind will look for in a day will be constantly looking and searching for that same dopamine throughout the rest of your days. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they will wake up, turn off their alarm, and look at their phone. This is very detrimental to you, because your brain is going to get that first hit of dopamine. And it is therefore going to search and look for that dopamine all throughout the rest of your day. So for people who have a scrolling addiction, or even if you just think in general, if you are automatically drawn to more of that dopamine, to looking at your phone and scrolling throughout the day, that's not going to be conducive to anything you want to produce in life, let alone just a present, peaceful life in general. So it's very important to also take that time to feed your mind a healthy piece of dopamine that is something that would be productive not only for the life that you want, but for your presence and peace and happiness as a human. I think natural dopamine is so effective for that reason. Building on that, what are the first things that I want to do in my day that my mind will therefore automatically look for dopamine, look for peace? And how can I center myself and tackle the main pillars of who I am and who I am becoming every single day? For me, that short, effective morning routine that I do is simple. I focus on mind, body, and soul. So I'll give you my perfect foundational morning routine. Like I said, sometimes I build on it from there, but I have this small foundational morning routine that I do every single day that helps me naturally, easily, effortlessly every single day become that person, grow little more, expand a little more into the person that I know I'm capable of being. So the three things that I do are I wake up, pray, and visualize. The second thing that I do, okay, so that's connection to spirit and to my vision. The second thing that I do is read very powerful information. I study a very powerful book. I don't do it on my phone. For me, it's only a book. You do what's best for you, but filling my mind with something that will expand it and improve my ability as well. The third thing I do is move my body, whether that's as simple as a half an hour walk with my wife, which hits multiple things on the head, because time in nature, taking time to be present with my wife, talk to her, build our relationship, and moving my body. So what's really important for us is that we can do this morning routine within an hour. I can pray, visualize, and read within half an hour, and then do a half-hour walk with her. From there, I can start the rest of my day. Sometimes I'll go right into showering and getting ready for my day. I do recommend going into some deep work earlier in the day as well, a big needle mover in your business or life. But other than that, you can just add on to it. But you have this foundational piece every single day where you focus on mind, body, soul. You get your body moving, you get your mind expanding, you get attached to, connected to your vision. And then for me also, expanding my relationship with my wife, spending some time out in nature, all within an hour. And that hits the nail on the head for me and the life that I am building. Reverse engineer this for you. What are the key pillars of your life that you want to build? And this is what you should make sure to focus on, at least for a small amount of time and the first thing in the day. The key pillars that I always look at: relationship and environment, your finances, your health, physical, mental, and spiritual. So it's so important then to make sure that you are growing as an individual automatically every day through programming your mind and stepping into that first thing in the morning when you have those key opportunities to set yourself up for success through priming your mind to be that person. And I will think it's important to note that after this effective short morning routine, I get right into that big needle moving piece of work like I was saying. It's almost slightly separate in my mind from my morning routine, but it is a part of my day and being effective in my day. Because again, if I'm focusing on the key pillars of my life, my business is one of them. Once I've primed myself to show up as the best self for the business and for the people in my business who need me, I think it's important to prime your mind to also get a hit of dopamine from that and move that needle, feel accomplished, step into the person who naturally produces those results in your business that you want. So I'll leave it there. That's everything for today. I'm not dunking my head in buckets of ice, unfortunately, or doing any crazy things. There's no very specific things, but hopefully this is giving you the science behind how and why I have built my morning routine the way that I have, so that you can find out what works best for you, create a small foundational routine you do every day that you can add on to or build if you want, but a small foundational routine rooted in science that naturally primes you to be that person and pushes you closer to that dream life every single day. If you have questions or want to learn more about what it would look like to work with us at Avenus Consulting, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram at AdamAvenus. Otherwise, create a morning routine that you love and go have an incredible day.